later, Jimmy Fallon welcomes Nathan Lane, NBC Tonight.
I leaped across time and space to save you. Your life is in danger. You have to believe me.
Tomorrow, 3 playoff passes remain.
Holy moly. One hell of a choice to make here.
Language, Niall.
The playoff pass! The Voice, all new tomorrow.
Live on NBC 12. This is News Watch 12 at 10.
Good evening and welcome to Newswatch 12 at 10. I'm Dan Hagan.
And I'm Jessica Jukage. The YMCA of the Northwoods in Rhinelander is a busy place, so busy that YMCA leaders and members want to expand it.
Thanks to many donations, that vision is becoming a reality and the new facility is beginning to take shape. Newswatch 12's Mohammed Abdul Kawi has more.
Our expansion here is critical for us to meet the needs in the community.
The YMCA of the Northwoods have been working hard adding on to their facility. Interim CEO Fred Hauser says the recent warmer weather has allowed them to get an early start.
It'll start to move quickly now. As you see the walls go up, people from the outside will see some real progress being made. Walls will be put up, the roofs will be put on, and then the interior work will begin with the concrete being poured.
The new expansion will feature an 8,000 square foot gymnasium, a new aerobic studio, and a pickleball court. All things Hauser says the community members are looking forward to.
We've been getting a tremendous response from the public and our members about this addition of this new aerobic center, the new gymnasium behind me, and then the changes that are going to occur inside. 2 new spaces that are being repurposed for intergenerational and then a welcome center.
The add-on was made possible from many donations, including Gail Wilcox, who donated $1 million. Hauser believes this will make an impact in Rhinelander for years to come.
This project is being developed because we have a need for the facilities that we're putting in so that we can serve children better and families better.
Reporting in Rhinelander, Mohammed Abdul Kawi, Newswatch 12.
Thank you, Mohammed. Jeff, it was a beautiful day. Now it's cooling off a bit.
Yeah, today was a good day, right? With temperatures back in the 40s and some sunshine, but things are about to change.
I was going to say, we can't be deceived. This is just like the third fall spring, right?
It's going to be a goofy week with more snow in the forecast on Thursday. Let's go outside now and check on high temperatures today. We had 42 in Rhinelander. That's comfortable. The average high is 43. Antigo, 40, 43 for Wausau. So a very nice day with that sunshine earlier and a light wind. Out there now, though, things are really cooling off. So we're back in the 20s for Rhinelander, also for Antigo, also for Stevens Point with Paca, temperatures near 30 there. We'll have lows tonight pretty much in the upper teens to low 20s. So we've had worse, but anything wet's going to refreeze out there tonight with temperatures below freezing. All right, so around the horn, we have several active systems. So here's one across the East Coast. This guy is going to leave us alone there. But this energy here is going to combine with some energy up there. You can't see it yet. That's going to bring us some light snow basically on Thursday and some light rain. Before then, though, tomorrow night, we could get a couple snow flurries in here as well. So overall, kind of an active week is on the way. Our forecast then for tonight, though, we're talking about mostly clear skies and partly cloudy skies. With low temperatures down near 18. Your full forecast is coming up. Jessica?
An Elko school staff member is accused of having sex with a 14-year-old student. Ashley King faces 2 charges of sexual assault. In Langlade County Court today, a judge ordered the 31-year-old to be held on a $250,000 bond. King is a paraprofessional in the Elko School District. A detective received a report about a sexual assault on March 21st. The detective contacted the victim. The victim said they had sex with King in a truck in Otter Lake Boat Landing in Elko. A witness reported seeing sexual contact between King and the victim on February 7th. King is scheduled to be back in court on April 17th.
A shooting at a Nashville private Christian school this morning left 6 dead. 3 of the victims are children. Investigators have obtained a manifesto written by the shooter and are combing through additional evidence. President Joe Biden said today the country has to do more to stop gun violence.
We have to do more to protect our schools so they aren't turned into prisons. You know, the shooter in this situation reportedly had 2 assault weapons and a pistol, 2 AK-47. So I call on Congress again to pass my assault weapons ban. It's about time that we begin to make some more progress.
Biden mentioned during a decade-long assault weapons ban starting in 1994, the number of deaths from mass shootings fell. When the ban expired in 2004, mass shooting deaths rose almost immediately. The president doesn't appear to have the votes for an assault weapons ban in this Congress.
5 people were shot early this morning at a Milwaukee restaurant. Authorities were called to the Prime Social restaurant and bar at around 1:30 this morning. 5 people were taken to area hospitals with injuries. According to Milwaukee police, all the victims were men between the ages of 25 and 44. Authorities are still searching for that suspect. This is the second mass shooting in Milwaukee this year. That's according to Gun Violence Archive, which defines a mass shooting as 4 or more victims injured or killed.
A UW-Madison student died today outside a residence hall. The Vice Chancellor for Student Affairs sent a letter to students and employees that the individual died outside of Smith Residence Hall. She wrote that no foul play is suspected and the UW-Madison Police Department is investigating. No other information was provided. At the end of her letter, she directed students to support spaces on campus.
Communities along the St. Croix River, which borders Wisconsin and Minnesota, are preparing for what could be historic flooding. Volunteers are filling thousands of sandbags for the town of Stillwater. The sandbags plus concrete blocks will go into the berm. The National Weather Service has forecast high probability of flooding after one of the snowiest winters on record. It appears that rainfall and temperature patterns for this week could promote slow melting, which would then ease the flood threat. Flooding isn't the only threat that comes in the spring. Fluctuating temperatures above and below freezing causes issues on roads.
This time of year, if it isn't snowing, workers at the Oneida County Highway Department are filling potholes. Alex Hegeman is the Highway Commissioner for Oneida County, and he has crews working on the 172 miles of county highways. He says 2 crews head out each morning from the Highway Department to patch and repair county roads.
When that frost starts melting, makes the base course, the gravel underneath the pavement, becomes soft and kind of saturated with water. So your stability to your pavement structure is no longer there.
Hegeman says cold patch asphalt repair is being used right now, but that's just temporary. The more permanent fix comes when the weather warms and asphalt plants reopen. Then hot mix asphalt can be used for road repairs. Hegeman reminds drivers to slow down and give workers plenty of space. A leader in Israel today called the biggest crisis in the history of the country today.
Coming up after the break, we'll hear why Israeli society shut down during massive protests. That's after Weather with Jeff right here on Newswatch 12.
It's back. 3 of Central Wisconsin's best RV dealerships join forces for the biggest savings of the year. DNL Recreation, Lake Country RV, and Cunis RV host the 2023 Spring RV Open House in Wisconsin Rapids, Thursday, March 30th through Sunday, April 2nd.
Dan Kelly and his friends are lying about Judge Janet Protasewicz.
He wants to scare you because he can't talk about his own record.
Dan Kelly has never sentenced a single criminal to prison.
Not one.
That's a fact.
And as a private attorney, Kelly got rich defending sex predators who posed as youth ministers to sexually assault young girls.
That's the truth.
The bottom line is that Dan Kelly won't keep our community safe.
He's an extremist
who doesn't care about us.
Carpet City.
Come to Carpet City Flooring Center's biggest sale ever and receive free carpet installation or save $300, $600, or even $1,000 on all hard surface flooring. That's right, free carpet installation or extra savings up to $1,000 on hard surface flooring. If you need flooring, now is the time to buy. Only at Carpet City Flooring Center's biggest sale ever.
Our prices will floor you.
Quantrill Bounds punches a 12-year-old girl, forces her to perform oral sex. He films the heinous act, posts it on Facebook. 12 years old. Any rational person would want this guy behind bars for a long time. Not Judge Janet Protasewicz. She showed sympathy for him, released him back onto the street. Imagine this were your daughter. Janet Protasewicz's judgment isn't just flawed, it's dangerous.
It's back. 3 of Central Wisconsin's best RV dealerships join forces for the biggest savings of the year. DNL Recreation, Lake Country RV, and Cunis RV host the 2023 Spring RV Open House in Wisconsin Rapids, Thursday, March 30th through Sunday, April 2nd.
Well, this was fun. High temperatures back in the low to mid 40s across the area today. Melting lots of snow, lots of puddles around. Tomorrow, though, it's going to be a bit cooler, and especially on Wednesday. We're going to hold high temperatures Wednesday, likely below freezing, but our snowpack is still snowpacking out there. 5 inches in Green Bay, 8 in Wausau, 17 here in Rhinelander, and we're likely going to add to this a bit this week, and maybe a lot bit toward the weekend and beyond. Right now, temperatures are in the upper 20s in Rhinelander and Tomahawk. Merrill, you're at 32, 33 for Wausau. So everybody's going back below freezing tonight. So whatever melted today, the puddles are going to refreeze this evening, and that's going to make things very slippery in spots tomorrow morning. Okay, so here's the cold stuff. We'll get a little bit of it in here on Wednesday night into Thursday. Then we'll get a break, followed by some more cold stuff getting in here Saturday and Sunday. And that's important because as each of these kind of cold things pass by, we're going to bring in some precipitation, and there's going to be a mixed bag of that coming our way for Thursday, likely Saturday, and then again probably Monday into Tuesday. There's some wet weather on the way. The average high is 43, the average low 22. Here's what the atmosphere can do: 16 below back in 1996, and the sun set earlier at 7:19. Here's precipitation. You can see here 96.9 inches of snow so far this season, and we are now likely to add to that this week and potentially next week as well, as we're heading into a pretty active weather pattern once again. Temperature-wise, though, you saw the average high being 43, right? Well, it's not on this map. Well below average temperatures for tomorrow. In fact, we're going to hold high temperatures in the 20s on Wednesday. That's not nice. 37 for Thursday, also for Friday, 38, and they kind of back down again for Saturday. You get the idea. Below average temperatures are on the way, with some precipitation events in there as well. Will likely give us some rain and snow mix this week, but not today. Lots of clear skies out there pretty much all day long. Over 12 and a half hours of daylight today, but some high clouds rolled in late this afternoon, and there are some clouds out there right now that will stick around into early parts of tomorrow. It'll be a partly cloudy day for us tomorrow. Okay, there's lots going on. So system 1 is right there. System 2 is across the Midwest. That's going to go that way. System 3, though, that's the big one. It's going to make national news likely tomorrow, affecting parts of California with flooding and heavy snow. Feet of snow there again, but that's going to be moving our way. A piece of it will, and likely bringing us some rain snow mix in here on Thursday. Walking you through it, you can see here out there now, no worries at all. Tomorrow night there could be a couple flurries around. Be ready for that. Not a big deal at all. The bigger deal gets in here on Thursday. Here's Thursday's system, a rain snow mix across the area. That could give us an inch or 2 or 3 of snowfall north of Highway 8 on Thursday. Then we got some more weather in here for Friday, and then look what happens. We'll get a break for a day, followed by more snow, and this snow could be heavy on Saturday. That gets out of here, and another system gets in here from Monday into Tuesday. So like I said, a pretty active week is on the way. And of course, snowfall-wise, we're at 96.9 inches. Will we get over here? We'll see. That's going to be a stretch, a ways to go, right? Our forecast on tonight, though, is lots of clouds out there, low temperatures down near 18, and a calm wind after midnight. For tomorrow, it's Tuesday. Partly cloudy skies, noticeably colder tomorrow, with high temperatures near 36, and a west wind around 5. For your 7-day forecast, much furniture, you can show the story here at 36 tomorrow. Wednesday, 27. There's that chance for rain and snow on Thursday, rain and snow Friday, likely snow Saturday, and some more snow getting in here on Sunday to Monday. Jessica?
Thank you, Jeff. JO groomers out in Hurley are doing the last grooming of the year before closing for the season. White Thunder riders said in a Facebook post that while the snow base is getting compromised, so far the snow bridges are holding. Snowmobilers in counties will open trails like Iron County will have until Friday to get their riding in. Trails close just before midnight on Friday.
Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu is trying to push through controversial legal reforms that sparked massive protests in Israel today. Israeli society pretty much shut down. Services were stopped in airports, banks, shops, and even in some hospitals. Netanyahu announced tonight he would pause the legislation for now. The current government in Israel is the most right-wing ever in its history, and it's seeking to take control over the committee which appoints judges. It is unclear what a delay will achieve beyond buying time.
Ukraine received European battle tanks today. It was the first shipment of Leopard 2 tanks from Germany, as well as tanks from the United Kingdom. Ukraine's defense minister said he was sure the tanks could make a decisive contribution on the front lines of the war. Currently, Ukraine is repelling heavy Russian attacks on the eastern city of Bakhmut.
The Wisconsin DNR is reminding property owners to protect their ash trees from invasive species. The DNR says people should treat their ash trees with insecticide this spring to protect against the deadly emerald ash borer. The pest kills more than 99% of untreated ash trees that it infests. The DNR says insect treatments should be put on trees between mid-April and mid-May. The emerald ash borer has been found in nearly every Wisconsin county. For more information on preventing the spread, go to our website, WJFW.com. Rhinelander boys tennis was dominant last year, going undefeated in conference.
Coming up on Newswatch 12, Serenity Douglas will preview Hodak tennis and baseball, plus have a look at Milwaukee Bucks highlights.
Spectrum presents The Download with Clarissa.
Everyone is talking about Spectrum One. Matt, give us a download.
Clarissa, people are switching because Spectrum is offering seamless connectivity with Spectrum Internet, advanced Wi-Fi, and unlimited mobile.
That's the future of connectivity. That's Spectrum One.
Switch to Spectrum One and get 300 megabit internet for $49.99 a month, plus free advanced Wi-Fi and one free line of unlimited mobile. Call 1-833-883-4999.
What's unique about Spectrum Internet?
Spectrum Internet has the most consistent download speeds and no data caps.
How secure is the Wi-Fi?
The advanced Wi-Fi comes with enhanced privacy and security features that block online threats.
Why is Spectrum Mobile the fastest growing mobile provider?
Spectrum Mobile is super reliable and it includes 5G nationwide.
Plus unlimited calls, texts, and
data.
Switch to Spectrum One and get 300 megabit internet for $49.99 a month, plus free advanced Wi-Fi and one free line of unlimited mobile. Call 1-833-883-4999.
Call now or visit a Spectrum store today.
A teenager with the mental capacity of a 6-year-old, tricked by a predator on Facebook using a fake name, who then sexually assaulted her. It was pure evil. If Judge Janet Protasewicz was to ever take a stand for a victim, this was the time, and this was the victim. But she failed, again, placing the man on probation with a measly 60 days in the local jail. Tell Janet Protasewicz, stop letting predators off easy.
Fishing for the best deal on a new boat and motor? Then get to American Marine and Motorsports in Shawano. Pick from hundreds of boats and pontoons in stock at the largest showroom in the USA. Then increase your power with a Mercury motor on your new dream boat. We'll beat any boat price by $500 and trade in your old boat and motor for even more savings. Book the best deal on new boats and Mercury motors at American Marine and Motorsports, Shawano.
Coming up here Tuesday, we'll have this week's edition of Nursing the North.
And a few more nice days on the way, but starting Thursday through at least the weekend, some active weather possibly on the way. More when you tune in on your Tuesday from 5 to 7 a.m.
Spring break is over for Rhinelanders, so the final spring sports are kicking off their season. The snow still being on the ground won't stop their growling because they have the Hodag Dome. The Hodag tennis team had lots of success last season, finishing the Great Northern Conference undefeated. They're gearing up to have that same impact this season. Their first official practice was today, and their first scrimmage will be held at home against Ashland on April 4th. Another sport that's ready to start their season is the boys golf team. They were third in the conference last year, and their opening match is scheduled for April 18th against Mosinee. We're staying in the Dome, but this time for Rhinelander baseball. They started their season yesterday in a scrimmage against D.C. Everest at home. The Hodags had a pretty good run last year, finishing 6-6 in the Great Northern Conference. And they finished with a 9-8 overall record, but ultimately lost to Mosinee in the second round of regionals. I spoke with Coach Joe about the scrimmages.
I mean, it's a start. So obviously, you know, you're always looking for stuff to work on. You know, especially from our pitchers' perspective, we're looking to throw more strikes. And that's the great thing about a scrimmage is that, you know, you can work on something. You can see where maybe some of your team's flaws are.
Baseball's first home game is scheduled for April 10th against Antigo. After the close win against the Oregon Ducks, Wisconsin is preparing for their next game against North Texas. The Mean Green also made their impact by beating #1 seed Oklahoma State last game. This could be a low-scoring game against these two teams, with North Texas having yet to allow 60 points in the NIT so far. The Badgers are a very good defensive team, so this will be a good matchup. The game tips off at 6 p.m. Tuesday night. The Bucks are on a 4-game winning streak going into their matchup against the Pistons tonight. After taking the win over Denver on Saturday, a couple of the big stars didn't play this game. Giannis Antetokounmpo and Drew Holiday were both out this game, but that was no problem for the Bucks. Milwaukee has won 17 of the last 18 games against its Central Division rivals. Chris Middleton shined as he scored 34 points, Brook Lopez having 24, and Javon Carter served 22. The Bucks took the win 126-117, and they'll play the Pacers this Wednesday. It's no secret former Packers quarterback Aaron Rodgers wants to buy the first-class ticket to New York to join the Jets. Now, the question is, where does that leave his relationship with the Packers? Packers general manager Brian Gutekunst broke his silence and spoke to the media today to set something straight. According to Rodgers' side of the story, the Packers kept the door open for him to come back for the 2023 season. But then after his darkness retreat, something changed, and the team was all of a sudden ready to move on from the future Hall of Famer. Brian Gutekunst explained when the shift happened.
So I think obviously it was a disappointing season, right? And you come out of the season, you have a lot of conversations, not only with Aaron, but with the rest of the team, coaches, and everybody. And then as you go through that process, you kind of get an idea of where you're going to move to, you know, as a team, how you're going to go forward. And I think I was really looking forward to the conversations with Aaron to see how he fit into that. Those never transpired.
Gutekunst continued to speak about where he decided to go from there.
And our inability to reach in or for him to respond in any way, I think at that point, then we just kind of I had to do my job and kind of reach out and understanding that a trade could be possible and see who was interested. But the shopping was never really part of that.
More after the break.
What does it cost to buy off a judge? For extremist Dan Kelly, he's for sale for $20,000. In 2020, Kelly conveniently changed his mind about whether to judge the Tim Zignego case. Kelly had recused himself. Then he pocketed $20,000 in contributions from Zignego and his family, and Kelly unrecused himself so he could judge the case. Justice shouldn't be for sale. Dan Kelly is too corrupt, too extreme.
Get 11% off everything at Menards. Update your home with quality paints from Pittsburgh Paint. Ultra features paint and primer in one and provides a durable finish. A gallon is only $19.29 after rebate. Looking for a true one-coat paint that provides the most advanced protection and is superior to all other paints? Look no further and get a gallon of Paramount on sale for $39.95 after 11% rebate at Menards.
Save big money at Menards.
Hey, Dad, look.
Us.
This is the magma chamber.
This isn't us, is it? When did we get so connected to our devices and so disconnected from each other?
She's not answering.
What? And when our phones have turned us into this, LT, what do you do when you're a company that sells them?
We gotta fix this.
It's time to find what we're missing. Join us in taking a break from our devices. Take the phones down for 5 challenge for 5 days, 5 hours, or even just 5 minutes.
Feels good.
And let's find us again. U.S. Cellular. Built for us.
The new 2023 GMC Sierra AT4X is equipped to conquer the great outdoors. Or the great indoors. Welcome to the peak of premium off-roading. Or get 2.9% APR for 5 years and no monthly payments for 90 days on turbo high-output engine Sierra light-duty elevation models.
Quantrill Bounds punches a 12-year-old girl, forces her to perform oral sex. He films the heinous act, posts it on Facebook. 12 years old. Any rational person would want this guy behind bars for a long time. Not Judge Janet Protasewicz. She showed sympathy for him, released him back onto the street. Imagine this were your daughter. Janet Protasewicz's judgment isn't just flawed, it's dangerous.
Governor Tony Evers has directed that flags to be flown at half-staff tomorrow to honor a Wisconsin soldier whose remains were recently identified. Evers' order directs that U.S. flags and Wisconsin state flags be lowered to half-staff from sunrise to sunset tomorrow to honor U.S. Army Private First Class William Laverne Sonny Simon. Simon was a member of Company G, 2nd Battalion of the 109th Infantry Regiment when he was reported unaccounted for on November 5th of 1944 during the Battle of Hurtgen Forest. In April of 2019, his remains were sent to the Defense Prisoner of War and Missing in Action Accounting Agency lab for analysis, where they were positively identified as Simon. Simon's remains will be buried tomorrow with full military honors in his hometown of Middleton, Wisconsin.
A U.S. military base named after a Confederate general will have a new name this May. Fort Hood in Texas is getting renamed. A ceremony will take place in May to rename the Army base after General Richard Edward Cavazos. He made military history in 1982 when he became the Army's first Hispanic 4-star general. Fort Hood is currently named after Confederate Lieutenant General John Bell Hood. Fort Hood is one of several military bases undergoing a name change after a congressional committee recommended removing Confederate names from military bases. When you hear of hats produced in a factory, Ironwood, Michigan might not be the location that comes to mind.
But in the case of one hat worn by people of all ages, a company with fewer than 100 employees produces a northern classic. Newswatch 12's Matt Weaver gives us an inside look at how Stormy Chromers are made.
So many people think that you take a roll of fabric and throw it in some automated machine and out it pops a finished hat. And now I'm proud to show you all the wonderful human beings here in Ironwood that make the hats for us.
Stormy Cromer Chairman Bob Jacquard shows how the famed hat from the Upper Peninsula of Michigan is put together.
Right now we're cutting Thinsulate insulation for the inside of our rancher hat. And so the process is a pattern gets put into the computer and this machine is actually cutting it out piece by piece. So after everything's cut, it's sent into the production line, but the first thing we do, of course, is we have to put our Stormy Cromer signature. I have it on my hat, and it's going to go on these hats. It takes just a little while for you to start figuring out what's happening there. You'll see it finish Stormy. And then cutting and embroidery are the two very automated processes that we have. However, you're about to see all the unautomated processes, the human beings making product by hand. So this is the process of manufacturing the crown of the hat, the most difficult part. And the process cannot be automated. It's all done by her hands. The right side of the hat, right front to the right center, right back to the center, and then she puts them all together.
After the ear flaps are attached, the hat is ready for inspection and a finishing touch.
Look at all these hats here. We got just an abundance of hats, and now literally it's time to tie the bow on it. So we have Becky here. Becky, you're going to show us how to do this, right?
Yes. Rub the tie through the eyelets. Not too tight bow. Make sure your ear band is centered.
There you have it. The final product.
They're awesome. They work hard every day, and they put their skin in the game, and they make these wonderful products.
In Ironwood, Matt Weaver, Newswatch 12.
We so amazing.
The stylish Chevy Equinox RS. And Chevy Blazer RS.
So captivating.
You don't have to be an influencer to be an influencer.
The crowd go crazy.
The RS family of Chevy SUVs. Definitely worth a follow. Get 2.9% financing on all 2023 Equinox models. Or get $1,000 cash allowance. Plus, current Chevy owners get an additional $750 cash allowance on all 2023 Equinox models.
Sheriffs like us from around the state are supporting Daniel Kelly for Wisconsin Supreme Court. Justice Kelly's opponent, Janet Protasewicz, is a Milwaukee County judge with a long history of letting dangerous criminals back into our streets.
Directly undermining the work of our officers and putting your family at risk. We can't afford to have judges who put their own agendas above the law. It's time we start prioritizing justice again, not politics.
Vote Daniel Kelly for Wisconsin Supreme Court.
Farming today doesn't always feel the same way it used to. Then again,
some of it feels all the same. Maybe it isn't so much the jobs that changed, but how they get done. Now that's a different story. Everything got bigger and smaller at the same time. Insurance, accounting, and taxes can get complicated, so you need someone who's looking to keep every dollar possible in your pocket. Ag Country.
Hey, man, you could save hundreds for safe driving with Liberty Mutual. They customize your car insurance.
So you only pay for what you need. Woo!
We gotta go again.
Only pay for what you need.
Liberty, 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 liberty.
Hi, have you seen that realtor with all those billboards?
Hold my beer.
Get local, award-winning injury lawyers. Get Nicolay.
At Batteries Plus, we do more than replace batteries and fix phones and tablets. We help our neighbors power their lives. Need a phone fixed? We got it. Get powered in-store, curbside, and at batteriesplus.com.
Builder Service. We are your hometown hardware store. Plumbing, electrical, paint, automotive, keys, tools, lawn and garden. We're more than just a lumberyard. Highway 45 in Elko.
Well, you guys, this week I had another busy weekend cooking. I tried 2 new recipes. Let's take a look at them. The first was pork chops, and I tried a new cherry cola dry rub. It was a little sweet, savory. It was just perfect.
Cherry cola?
Yeah, it's really good. Delicious.
Okay.
And seasoning. The second meal, I used my crock pot to make garlic butter chicken. It turned out amazing. This was what it was when I put it in.
Are those carrots?
That's carrots.
There's nothing
potatoes.
better than roasted carrots.
And then I also made a brownie for dessert. It was a good weekend.
Baked beans. That looks like the surface of Mars.
No, it's a cooked brownie.
I thought it was
good.
Mars. You thought it was baked beans?
Yeah, baked beans, Mars.
It was good. Very different stuff.
Was it good?
Yeah, it was all really good.
Okay, nice.
Yeah, I would recommend the cherry cola dry rub. It's delicious.
Really? You wouldn't think of that.
And it was so good on pork. I've
But I
tried it
can't
on
drink
chicken.
sugar.
Well,
Dan doesn't let me drink
sugar. It probably
sugar.
has sugar in it, so.
Not on television.
Okay, here we go. Let's go check on the temperatures outside right now. We're hanging out in the 30s and 20s, so anything wet's refreezing out there tonight. It won't be a big deal, though, because we'll have lows basically in the upper teens. Okay, so quiet night for us tonight. Tomorrow night, likely getting a couple flurries in here. And then we'll get some rain and snow across the area on Thursday. Overall, it's going to be a pretty active weather week, because here we go. So tonight, all good. Tomorrow, all good. Thursday, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, all with a chance of rain and snow. That snow could be a little heavy on Saturday. We'll keep an eye on that for you.
I just remembered that Serenity still has not had cheese curds.
What?
Oh,
We
man,
gotta
we
try
have to
to
make
do
this
that.
happen.
That's tomorrow's
Okay.
thing. We got
Well,
this.
that's all the time we have. We'll see you back here tomorrow. Have a great night.
I paid into Social Security my whole life.
Now I depend on it.
We earned it. But extremist Dan Kelly doesn't think so.
He said Social Security is like slavery.
And Kelly wrote that seniors on Social Security are, quote, people who have chosen to retire without sufficient assets to support themselves.
What a jerk.
That tells you a lot about the kind of judge he'll be on the court.
He's an extremist.
He's too extreme.
He doesn't care about us.
At Lakeside Living Design, we've always got something stylish in store for you. Whether you're looking for high-quality custom upholstery, decorative accessories and gifts, or are designing your space entirely from scratch, you'll have a friendly designer by your side, sharing their expertise, helping you bring your unique style to life. So stop by, explore our showroom, and together we'll make your space feel just like home.
To everyone who believes in tradition, come enjoy a few of ours from Wisconsin.
People in Wisconsin love a good fish fry.
Really love. And we love sharing it with guests everywhere.
At Culver's, we still batter our North Atlantic cod by hand to order.
And we cook it to a crispy, golden perfection just for you.
For you.
For you. So it's crispy outside, flaky inside. Let us take care of you.
With some homegrown traditions we were raised on.
From Wisconsin with love.
Welcome to Delicious.
Hit the ground running in the most adventurous Honda vehicles yet.
like the Pilot and Passport Trail Sport, or the Ridgeline, made more rugged with better off-road performance, and more capable with different driving modes available to conquer snow, mud, and sand. Adventure on in the Honda for you. Buy online, reserve from select dealers,